doing, Maxwell? You hanging out with me? You hanging out? Alright. Last video was a list, basically, of all the stuff that I have to do to rebuild these side rails. As I mentioned in the video, the last video, I was going to take these gear racks and take them off one at a time and drill holes 4-inch centers all the way through it. So what I did first was I came by and I made a small mark at each existing hole location all the way down. And I came back with a ruler in between and held on the existing hole mark and made a mark about approximately 4 and 8 inches to the closest tooth. And I just blacked it with a magic marker to give me a place to easily see when I scribed it later. So I did that all the way down. And then I came back, like you see, and I scribed it. Then I rotated it. Yep, blacked it. Actually, I blacked it at the same time I blacked the other side. And then I transferred around the corner with my little mini square, slid down, boom, boom, made a mark at the center of each tooth. I started practicing a little bit on that little piece I had over there and found that it was easier to drill through the point of the tooth instead of in between. When I was drilling in between, I noticed that it was hanging up a lot, and it was also messing up the face of 2 different teeth. So I figured one was better than 2. I labeled them. I stamped the R and the L in these. So anyways, after I got this laid out and drilled this first one, I set it up over here on the drill press. I showed you in the video I had this little piece set up here to help hold one end and move some junk out of the way down here, and made this little presidential engineering device to hold the other end when it got heavy on that side. It worked out really well. It was easy to manipulate, easy to set up, get tight, and get level. So that was the easy part. So I drilled all the holes out, and as soon as I drilled each hole, I came back with a little deburring tool and just took the face off a little bit, so there's nothing for it to, no burrs for it to sit on when it gets clamped in place later on the new rail. So I did that, and then I lifted over and counterbored it. Did the same thing, moved it 2 holes in between each existing hole. I don't know if there's enough light to see that or not, but find the right angle, it might work, huh? Well, maybe not. But anyways, it's counterbored to the size of the head for the screws, and which is a 440. So I did that all the way down. Then I came back and I said, well, you know, it's going to take a lot of layout to do that all over again. So I took the second rail off the table and brought it over and took this one and pretty much just stacked it on top of the other one. A friend of mine had previously milled the end of these so that they're perfectly perfect starting points for each one for that first tooth. So that was an easy way to get everything set up to get squared off to start out with. When I put a table together, I knew if I had my rails parallel and square, that when I was squared up in zero, the motors wouldn't be fighting the hold position in between the teeth. And I noticed that initially was a plus. Good foresight from my friend Fred. Thank him for that information. And he also, on his Bridgeport, did the first set of holes on 12-inch centers, and it was my mistake. He asked me what I wanted, and I said, well, you have 12-inch centers, it doesn't have any stress on it. And so anyways, to eliminate all the layout pain and the poop that I had to go through before, I set everything up, doubled it up like this, and I came back and I clamped it. I had this perfectly flush, and these sides perfectly flush. I had clamps on the side as I went down, and I put a clamp at each existing hole and flushed it all the way down. Then I came back with a transfer punch, went through these, the 9/64 transfer punch, and transferred the marks to the bottom piece. And I figured, well, while I'm here, I might as well go ahead and center drill it. So I got a little small center drill out, and I came back to the hole and I center marked each hole. So now that's one step less that I have to do on the first piece. So now all I gotta do is pop it up there on the drill press, drill this side out, flip it over, counterbore it, and there we go. You kind of see a little bit of shoulder where this screws are going to sit in there. Well, that's where I've gotten so far. Of course, that's a lot of holes, a lot of flipping, a lot of turning. So we're ready now to snatch the Z axis apart. And some more notes for myself. I feel like I need to add at least one more or two more bolts through here to the top of this carriage into the Z retainer plate. And it's kind of cantilever, and as you can see, they're pretty far down. So I'm going to add some more to the top, give it a little more rigidity, space them out as much as I can. So that's not going to be a problem. And something else I thought about too was I was going to move the lights from underneath here, but I am going to move the lights, I'm pretty sure. But I want to remind myself to drill a hole in the bottom of the 2x3 tubing to accommodate the wire, and pull me something through there ahead of time to make it easier to pull my wire in later. Well, guys and gals, it's looking a little bit different now. So the rails have been stripped off, as you can see. They're drilled and everything. I haven't ordered the tubing. I forgot to call at lunchtime today and get me a stick of 1/4 inch 2x2 and a stick of 3/8 2x3. So we'll do that tomorrow and have that coming. But in the meantime, the next step, I haven't thought of anything else I need to make that's pertinent that I can't make after I get it up and running. I also need to order the sheet metal. There was something else I need to remind myself of. I walked down here specifically to do that, but hey, when you get old like me, senior moments are closer and closer together all the time. Let's see, I was going to have the bolts here. Make sure I drill down there for that. Order the sheet metal. Oh well, maybe the next video I'll remember. It'll be funny, I'm sure. To me anyways. So I was like, oh yeah. So there you have it, guys. I guess the one thing I didn't show you in the shop, the last time I was showing you everything that I had, told you it's either refurbished, rebuilt, or made from scratch. I had an old Ramco bandsaw, and a friend of mine had this beauty and was going to get rid of it. And I knew I couldn't afford what he wanted for it, so I kind of just handed around and said, you know, I'd sure love to have that. And he made a deal with me, told me to sell my saw, give him what I got for that, and he would give me this one. So we did that, and we took one thing it needed was a cylinder for the lift and the cut, cut speed. And he took a long one and cut it down and made that work for it. I made a little roller access table here that makes it easy to feed materials in. And I've got little roller trays that go on the outside to catch material as well. But it's a beauty. I can never remember the name of it. The company, I think, went out of business in 1970 or something like that. But oh, here it is. Yeah, it's a Kalamazoo. He gave me this. I'm guessing probably a year after I had the saw. He was going through some of his stuff, and he ran across this and brought it to me. So I thought it was pretty cool. Kalamazoo, that's actually the name of the city in Michigan where they used to make these. So it's all cast iron, it's heavy duty. It has about a 10.5 foot blade on it, I think is what it is. 10 foot 5 inches. It's a beast. It'll cut like 14 inches wide, 11 inches tall. It's I've been impressed with it. It's been an awesome addition to the shop. It's going to let me get rid of a couple other little tools that I purchased in the past to bring more money back into the shop. Yep, there's the motor. I didn't do it this weekend. It's only Monday night, so y'all cut me a little bit of slack. I got both the rails off and got them drilled, counterboard, ready to go. So tonight I'm fixing to start tearing the gantry down. Go ahead and at least get this rail off, or the rail off of it, and get it re-drilled. Well, I've got the drill press set up for it. Don't want to have to stick that up there again, and keep on seeming to hit my back on this one little gizmo here. So old guys like me need something to say, hey, here you go, dummy. Well, thanks guys for watching. And if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. Here we are, we're just working our way this process through this little bit of a rebuild. It's got a 2-function process. Main function is to obviously get stability in the unit. and second off to accommodate my downdraft system for plasma. But it's able to be set to do anything I want to on it. I can do large jet, laser, 3D printer, mill steel, aluminum. Not a lot of steel, or unless I get a spindle motor that's made for milling. Using a router isn't going to work too good for very long. I think I've been through 3 of those little Bosch routers. One of them just burnt slap up. It didn't last about 3 hours. It was like, okay. Took it back, got another one. It lasted for quite a while. Cut many parts with it, ran it for many hours. And the battery started squealing, and I mean, as soon as it started squealing, I knew the tolerances were out. And I'm cutting a lot of stuff that, drilling a lot of holes that need to be where I want them to be. So I couldn't have the tolerance there throwing me off at each hole. It multiplies into more and more problems as you go. So I stopped as soon as I heard the bearing squeal, and sure enough, measured the end play, and it was astronomical, like 10 thousandths each direction, which is total 20 thousandths travel from out to out. So it was cooked. I took it off, took it back, told them the bearings burned out in it. They gave me another one. So I don't think I can, in my heart, do that again. It just doesn't seem right, but I've got my receipt, and there's no reason for it to have puked out the way it did. Act like they hadn't had any problem with them, but it's cheap, it's 1 1/4 horsepower. Turning way too many RPMs, and that's an issue in itself. But so we're ready to do it. We're going to eat our dinner, and we're going to come back, and it's going to be a little more fun to get this this gear rack off of here because of the cable tray. But who knows, we might cut the cable tray off first. We'll see how we feel. When we come back out, it might be easier to go ahead and dismantle that and get ready for it. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe if you want to see the next one. I'll try to keep you guys up on the build. Got one more of those gear racks to drill, counterbore, deburr. So I'm hoping that I can line 2 of these up like I did the other one, and use one to lay the other one out and add the holes, but I don't think that's going to work on this at all. I don't remember if this was also on a 12-inch center. If it is, if that was how we did it, because it was a shorter piece, that'd be great. I can save myself a lot of layout time, and it worked out good. Well, guys, thank you for watching. I know it's getting long. Last one was way too long. But you guys have a great day, have a great evening, and hurry back. We're going to get this thing cranking.